Hello and welcome to It's Your Business with Mario Toneguzzi on Megapix Media. Joining me today is Adriana Molina, who is Communications Manager with Credit Canada. Thanks for joining us today, Adriana.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, well, it's a tough time, obviously, this day and age for a lot of people out there. In general, what do you think is the state of personal finances in Canada right now for the average Canadian?
Well, for the average Canadian, it's interesting because what we're seeing right now after COVID, we're seeing a K-shaped recovery. And what that means is that there's one portion of the population that's doing actually very well. And the reason for that is because they were able to keep their jobs during COVID. They decreased their expenses. Many of them were working from home. So decreased expenses from saving money in transportation, in costs in going out, etc. Whereas there's this other portion of Canadians where they lost their jobs. So because of that, they had to take things such as payment deferrals, like on their debt payments because they couldn't make payments. They might have also had to rely heavily on the benefits the government made available. And they also had to probably rely heavily on credit. So we're seeing one sector of consumers doing really, really well, whereas the other one, they're facing a lot of hardships right now.
So tell me, and Adriana, you did mention a couple of things there in terms of payment deferrals and in the Canadian, if I get this right, Canadian Emergency Response Benefit. What are the consequences of having all those pile up on you?
So let's first talk about payment deferrals. What many people didn't realize was that while you were taking that payment deferral, even though you didn't have to make your monthly payments and you weren't penalized for it, your debt did continue to accrue interest. So your debt got much larger. And not only is that not, something that you want, but that also caused many Canadians to reach their credit limits a lot sooner than they had anticipated, which meant that they would be charged a higher percentage rate in interest. Okay. So the debt increased exponentially. The other issue is with what you mentioned earlier with CERB, is that even though this is, it was something that a lot of Canadians needed at the time, what we should have done was that we should have taken a portion of those benefits and set them aside for taxes, because that benefit it's taxable income. And unfortunately, many people didn't do that. No. So come tax time, they might be in for a surprise because they're going to be owing taxes. So there's a number of hardships here that people are experiencing in terms of their finances.
Yeah. Okay, then. So if you're figure that you're in trouble financially, what should you do? Like, what kind of tips can you offer people to help them get out of that that weight on their shoulders, I guess?
Well, the number one thing to start with is you have to know what your financial situation is. So what that means is maybe you should start planning to do your taxes early, just to see whether or not you do owe something. That way you can start making the appropriate adjustments to be able to pay the taxes. You should also be taking a look at your budget. So what that means is take a look at your monthly expenses, any debts that you owe, the interest rate on those debts, and any assets that you might have, just so that you can take an inventory of how much surplus income you do have in order to service any debts that you owe and other financial obligations. Yeah. And track your spending. You need to, now more than ever, we need to take into account and take a look very closely at how we spend our money, just so that we can keep an eye on to make sure that we're not spending money that we don't have. Mm-hmm. So those are our top tips. And if you can start paying off debt and you have unsecured debt, do so. Don't wait. What we're seeing a lot at Credit Canada is that a lot of clients, they're holding on to their cash because they don't know what the next few weeks or months are going to look like. But what this does is that it makes your financial situation much worse, because if you're not paying your debt payments, your debt's growing. But the other issue is that if you're not making your debt payments on time, you're also decreasing your credit score. You're hurting yourself on your credit score. So we recommend, if you have the capacity to do so, start paying off your unsecured debts.
Okay, super. And last question I have for you, Adriana, tell me just a little bit about Credit Canada, what you guys do.
Sure. So we're a nonprofit credit counseling agency. So what that means is that we have an awesome team of certified credit counselors. And what we do is that we provide free counseling to anyone across Canada. We provide phone counseling, obviously because of COVID right now, and also video counseling. So we also offer in person, but right now that's not available.
Yeah.
So during these counseling sessions, what a counselor will do is that they'll do all the heavy lifting for you. And we understand that budgeting and dealing with debt and your finances is very stressful for a lot of people. So it's just a great way to have an unbiased third party come in, take a look at your full financial situation. So what they'll do is that they'll go through your budget. They'll build one for you, a customized budget. They'll go through all of your monthly expenses, all of your income, any debts that you owe, the interest rate. And then based on that information, they can provide you with all of your options that you have available to you to achieve whatever financial goal you have, whether it's paying off debt or increasing savings, or they'll even negotiate with your creditors on your behalf if that's something that you need.
Okay, and Adriana, what is the best way of reaching Credit Canada or finding you guys?
Well, you can just go to creditcanada.com, and on our website, we have a COVID-19 Financial Resource Center where we have tons of free resources there. We have webinars, guides, we have a budget template that you can download. We have blogs that covers all sorts of topics that pertain right now to the financial landscape that we're in. And you can also call our phone number. It's toll free to book a free counseling session. It's 1-800-267-2272.
Okay, super. Thanks a lot for joining us today, Adriana.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Okay, that was Adriana Molina, who is Communications Manager with Credit Canada. This has been It's Your Business with Mario Toneguzzi on Megapix Media. Thanks for joining us today.